Hello and welcome to Let's Bring Them In. I'm up-and-coming marketing rock star Benjamin DeHart.
And I am Evan Klein, a former economic scholastic scholarship winner.
And Evan, today we have decided to take on the national sub-giant, the national sandwich artist house of Subway. Can you tell us a little bit about why we've decided to solve this chain's problems?
So, Ben, just purely on your delivery there and the way you trembled, I know, and I feel the same way. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit shocking. We're taking on our first large, I would say, brand with an attitude. Mm-hmm. We talked about Papa John's, and Papa John's is all well and good, but they've had their time in the sun, and they've kind of dried up a little bit. Mm-hmm. What we have here is a brand who is well over the hill and is kind of sputtering right now.
Yeah.
So, I've chosen Subway because, as we all know, it sucks. It's bad right now. Everyone thinks that they have. I would say if you had a poll for places with bad public image, Subway is right up there. And when did Jared Fogle, R.I.P. Subway Jared, when did he go to jail? That was like
That's a good couple years ago, I think. That
and
went down.
Like, if you were to show someone a picture of Subway and then show someone like a news headline that says Subway Jared gets jumped in jail, there's no doubt which one would do better as far as how people would perceive it.
Exactly.
It is absolutely wild how hard they hammered the push Subway Jared button and then absolutely blew up in their face. And it's not even Subway Jared, who, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, Subway Jared is Jared Fogle. He was a spokesman for Subway, and he had a pair of big-ass jeans that he would say, like, hey,
he brought those all around our fair nation.
He did. I mean, legitimately, it was like Betsy Ross's flag. His claim to fame was that he lost a lot of weight because he ate Subway 6-inch sub every single day, and he had giant pants. He's like, I used to fit into these, and now he doesn't because he ate Subway all the time, which, I mean, hey, if you can get by eating, like, I think he ate like the lowest carb sandwich as well. It was like chicken and bread, and that was it. But hey, good for him. It worked. Well, good for him at the time because he lost weight. So then he would go on these marketing campaigns for Subway where he was promoting like healthy eating, like especially for kids, and a lot of kids looked up to him because like, holy shit, like this guy lost a lot of weight. Like, I'm an obese child. I can lose weight if I put my mind to it, stay dedicated, and stay. What do I want to discipline in my diet?
Yeah.
And then I would say it kind of happened overnight. I mean, I'm sure it didn't happen overnight to the people that were affected by it, but it came out that like Jared had a long history of I don't know if it was child pornography.
I think it was child pornography, but there were several accounts online of Jared just being a creepy guy at sort of like conventions. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure what kind of conventions that you are sharing with Jared Fogle. You may need to rethink your con life, but apparently he's had some run-ins with fans. Specifically, I remember one account on Reddit of him being super drunk and then trying to grab one happy sub fan's ass butt cheek, and that didn't go over well online.
Jesus. Mm-hmm. I remember one of the headlines when like all of the Jared stuff was coming out, like while he was still in trial. It was like someone says that like Subway worker reports that Jared Fogle described sexual encounter with 16-year-old as cool, and it was like, this is like the most ridiculous like headline I've ever seen.
What you're forgetting is the time when he went on record and talked about the time that he slow fucked a meatball sub.
That's true, actually. But I mean, even if you think about it, like no one remembers the time that he said that he put like those servings of the teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Put it in the microwave, and then put it in a big piece of bread, and then pleasured himself with it.
Exactly.
People forget about that.
When you walk into Subway's line, occasionally it would just be Jared, and he would ask if you wanted him toasted, and it just would turn a lot of people away right at the door.
Exactly. Which, all of this to say, they absolutely pushed the promote Jared button when this guy had clearly had signs that he was not the best role model. Mm-hmm. But and they would get top end athletes as well. They had Michael Phelps. And then what happened? Then Michael Phelps got in trouble for smoking weed, which, first and foremost, That's fucking cool. Good on Subway for getting a guy that smokes weed. Epic. But then not only do they do that, but like they had Robert Griffin III, who like
Who's that guy?
immediately after that year, he's a quarterback, played for the Reds. The R words, I won't say the racist slur. So he shut up, PFT. He like the next year he absolutely shredded his knee. I mean, he'd done it before, but like ruined his career, and like he's done. So Subway has a way of tainting people. So maybe what it is that Jared, maybe it's the people behind Subway. Like maybe Jared, not that bad of a guy. We have like a John Schnatter issue here where John Schnatter was forced to say the N-word by his
Exactly. So
board.
what we're saying is that there is some sort of evil devils or cadre of succubi that are tempting our nation's heroes into despicable acts, whether in the drug use or sexual misconduct, wherein you fuck a meatball marinara sub in front of small children, or maybe just shred your knee and lose out on all the millions you would have gotten otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. So what we want to do is to exorcise those demons that Subway clearly has inside of them. So in order to get to the root of the problem, I've pulled up a few Subway reviews from my area.
Yeah, let's jump into Yelp here.
Yep. So first and foremost, I want to say one of my favorite things is when someone makes a positive Yelp review for somewhere, like retroactively to try to offset bad ones. But this one's actually the opposite. So I'll read the good review, which is the first one.
Go for it.
From 2013, Jen L. I give this Subway 4 stars because of the exceptional customer service I always get from here. I work with a disabled adult, and she loved her Subway. After about the second time I took her in there, they knew what she wanted as we walked in the door. The staff always treated her with respect and like she was a rock star whenever we came in. I take note of places that treat my clients with dignity and respect, and this Subway absolutely did that. And it wasn't an act. First of all, I don't know how she could determine that.
But it's pretty kick-ass. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good review. So we'll flash forward 2 years to a 1-star review.
Quick shout out to those Subway employees getting paid minimum wage, but making the extra effort though to make this person's day a little bit better. That's super hot of them.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very big ups. Big ups to Subway.
But it's the same restaurant, so this is a different review.
Yes, different review. Probably different people that they're reviewing. Also, this, if I would like to mention, 2013, before the Jared Subway incident, I believe. So, 2015, 1 star. I am not bashing the food. I am bashing the employees and how they choose to treat their customers. I went in and ordered 3 sandwiches. This was not the first time I had been to Subway, so I had assumed that I knew how to order food, but apparently I do not. After telling the lady what kind of bread, meat, and cheese I wanted, she asked me what kind of vegetables I wanted. At this point, I realized that she hadn't asked me if I wanted the sandwich toasted. I decided that I would probably be a good idea to let her know before she put on the veggies, so I asked for it to be toasted. She made a show of throwing the sandwich in the trash and told me that it was my job to tell them if I want the sandwich toasted before they put on any ingredients on the bread, or they would not be able to toast it and I would have to just deal.
Oh my God.
What? At any other location, it is the employee's job to ask you this, and it is usually after the meat and cheese is on the bread so that the cheese melts. I guess I have been ordering food wrong for years now, right, Subway? So I think this is just a spiteful situation.
This is wild to me because I'm trying to get in the employee's head here.
Yeah,
because like this person walks into their Subway and they order their sandwich and you put on their ham, their bacon, and their provolone cheese.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, would you like some lettuce on that? And then they say, yes, but I think I would like it toasted. And you're like, this is information I needed to be privy to weeks ago.
No, they just take a step back. They look down. They put their hands on the table, and they slowly bring their head up and they say, "How could you fucking do this to me? You know my fucking boss is watching CCTV in the office right now, and if he sees that I have to throw this sub out for some reason because you didn't tell me this before via memo." It's my ass on the cutting board.
It's not that they didn't want to put the bread, the whole sandwich thing in the toaster before or after the vegetables went on. It's that they needed to be mentally prepared because, as Subway has stressed for years now, this making sandwiches is not a job. It is an art form. So without the mental preparation to be able to paint on the mayos and the pepperoni slices, can you really have a sandwich properly toasted?
No, and obviously not. And I guarantee the issue here is that they didn't know anyone was going to want the sandwiches toasted. They didn't get any emails, so they didn't plug it in. So now they have to go back and plug it in, and that's absurd. And okay, so Ben, you've worked in commission jobs.
Yeah. I worked at a family video, which still exists and is thriving to this day.
Yep. So how insulting is it to you when someone tells you, the artist, how to do your job?
Yeah, so it's often when people can't find films around the store. I would say that most of the time they're in alphabetical order. So the times people can't find films, it's normally because sometimes it's understandable. Maybe we only have one copy of a film, or maybe somebody has just utterly misplaced where the film is supposed to be. Totally understandable. And sometimes there's an entire wall of a film that they have bypassed somehow. And there's that happens from time to time.
Do you ever get any pranksters come in and put movies in the wrong spaces?
Yeah, all the time. It's always children.
Those fucking gremlins.
Oh god, it was really quite awful. Every time I saw a child come in and they were escaped their parents at any point in time, I knew I would have goddamn hell to fix by the time they left. It's like, oh, man, Trolls number 1. I think this needs to go over by Die Hard.
They don't realize they don't get it. The kids don't get it. They get it. They'll never get it. Maybe if their parents don't teach them the wrong way. Yeah. Here's a crazy thing about family video to me is that's like one of the few places where porn is so close to like children's stuff.
I was unaware when I applied for the job how closely my job would revolve around porn.
Yeah.
I think they don't sell that part of the job to college students when they're like, "Hey, work at family video."
Yeah. What if they did? Like, what if they're like, "Hey, like you can get like one free rental a week." And
you
totally,
you can
be as much porn as you want.
If you do, you always get half off your rentals for being for working at family video. That includes porn. Nobody does it though. You know why? Because there is a permanent record of what you have rented from the beginning to the end of time on your linked to your account. Also, you get free rentals if you've done well enough on commission, and well enough is normally just like pretty okay. So you could get as many free porns as you want, but your manager comes in the next day and checks your account and sees daddy got MILFs on BBWs, and she's gonna know a little bit more about your personal habits. And so I couldn't, for the life of me, rent big Latinas with big wet titties the entire time I was there. Nor could I rent Titzilla 4, which I really wanted to rent. And that's the others I was kind of bullshitting. Titzilla 4 was what I wanted to rent the entire time I was working at Family Video.
It's probably the best film of the saga. Truthfully, I think what we're talking about here is similar to a Hobby Lobby situation, where Hobby Lobby, when they showed prejudice against one of their homosexual employees because they're like a strong Christian moral.
Was it that, or was business. Or were they against the birth control?
I don't think. I'm not going to go on record, but I'm pretty sure it was because of a homosexual employee.
It might have been,
but I'm not sure. Regardless, this is equal in my eyes. How Hobby Lobby treated their employee to how you were treated by not being allowed to rent porn without judgment.
Exactly.
All right. Anyways, back to Subway. So all of this being said, if someone's going to tell you how to do your job, absurd, especially when you're an artist.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. Last review, 1 star. This one's pretty short. 1 star, September of 2016. Mikey D from California, and this Subway is in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So when I asked for light mayonnaise instead of the regular mayonnaise, I do not expect to be given both mayonnaise types in large amounts on one sandwich. This place is awful, and their customer service is even more awful.
No! Holy fucking shit!
Oh, dude.
There's no way this happened.
I mean, so what this sounds like is we have a situation where he came in and he said, "Hey, can I have light mayonnaise?"
Oh yeah, you can also have light mayonnaise.
The Subway artist said, "Oh, you want mayonnaise? All right." And just like akimboed the mayonnaise onto his sandwich,
Never
staring
breaking
him dead
eye
in the fucking
contact.
face. I mean, the thing is, it sounds like this guy ended up buying it and paying for it.
He did.
So like, either this place is a drive-through and he didn't see them make his sandwich, or he is an absolute coward and when he saw them put it on.
Sweet. Okay, so what happened last was we were deciding whether the man in the drive-thru ordered inside or outside the store before my wandering toe meandered towards my power switch and playfully and almost maybe sexually clicked the off button, ruining the last few seconds of our podcast, maybe minutes. So my point before we left off was that there's no way this man's tongue, his palate, could differentiate between light and regular mayo if they were mixed together out of his sight. But he could indeed identify the sheer amount and breadth of mayo.
Okay, I mean, true. I'm of the mind that I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm saying he's potentially a super taster.
Okay.
And he can definitely taste the difference between light and I guess heavy in this instance, as one is light and heavy mayonnaise.
Okay.
And not only that, but he can taste how much there is.
When's the last time you went to Subway?
You really put me on a spot here.
My good buddy Evan, there's a new mayo in the mix.
What is it?
Chipotle.
Oh, I forgot about Chipotle mayo.
Exactly. Chipotle mayo has joined the fray. And though this is a review from, what is it, 2015?
Yes. No, 16. Let me check.
We need to double check.
2016.
When did Subway get Chipotle mayo?
Oh, shit. This is a big question.
Yep. You know, people are less interested in the origins than I would have thought.
Are you telling me that the backstory to Subway's Chipotle mayo is not intensive?
It's not within the first page of Google, that's for sure.
Oh, God. Yeah, not worth it at all. Okay, so this man clearly, he came across the wrong artist. Maybe the artist, was having a tough time paying for rent in their single-person studio in Appleton, Wisconsin, and
no one can relate to that.
Nope, only the struggling artist from Subway, which was having a bad day. So he was doing an experiment to see if this man could tell the difference between light and regular mayonnaise, and I mean, he ruined the control variable by putting both of them together, but still pretty funny, and especially because this man still, I would assume, paid for it and ate it. If he
like a
made
monster.
This. Yeah.
I'm assuming this Subway sandwich is 40% mayonnaise at this point.
I would assume that he probably got a sandwich with bread, morsels of meat, cheese, and lettuce, and then just large Olympic-sized pools of mayonnaise.
Just like Michael Phelps likes on his sandwich. We always do that Jared Fogle liked his meatball subs, but Michael Phelps came in and just got mayonnaise sandwiches with the two different types of mayonnaise.
Oh, man. The Jared special. Do you know what that sandwich is?
What is it?
It's just deep-fried denim because he's big ass jeans. I will say that joke is one of the staples of high school comedy for me was Jared's big-ass jeans. I wonder what, just thinking about them jeans.
The Staples Noir of your comedy.
The Staples Noir, yep.
Might.
Yep, exactly. Self-reference, I like it. Okay, so we've dilly-dallied and pondered long enough. What decisions can we make now?
Yes.
To help Subway moving forward?
We've identified a lot of their issues. Some of them is a branding image. Some is inconsistency in their workforce, it seems like. Some are just angels in green hats, but others are disgruntled artists, apparently.
Or just disgruntled mayonnaiseists. Man, I don't even
Mayonnaise arsonists.
Mayonnaise arsonists. Just Oh god, just absolutely tagging Subway. They just
Oh my God.
they use mayonnaise as spray paint and just absolutely obliterate the subs.
Maybe that's part of our solution then, is to kind of lean into the chaos a little bit. Because we
Oh.
obviously have these angels who are the artists, and then we have the mayonnaise arsonists.
They could
So-
be your angle or your devil.
Exactly. So you walk in to a Subway, and you never know what you're going to get.
I mean, that's we joke, but how much better would it? Because that's something that I always think about. Like when I go to a restaurant and I only go there once, is it's like, okay, this was good, or okay, this was bad, but is that indicative of the
Overall experience.
of the restaurant I went to? Yes. So if you can hire like true sandwich artists that they hear what you want, you essentially commission them. They need to lean into this artist idea more. You commission a sub. And you tell them a time you want it done by. And then you wait until then. And then you buy the sub, you eat it, and you pay them
No,
afterwards.
you don't. You don't pay them.
You don't pay them?
You ask if they will take. You'll take a photo of it. And you'll pay them an exposure.
This is such a good-looking sandwich. I swear, if you let me post this, I have a huge following.
I have
on,
like 1,000 followers on the gram.
I was gonna say Yik Yak.
On Yik. Oh my God! Good deep cut.
Yeah, deep cut on Yik Yak. If you let me post this, you will be flooded with customers, and they will pay you. So essentially, what I'm saying is, you got to spend money to make money. You spent money on this sandwich, and I will make you money and have a free sandwich.
Exactly, and the artists, they're gonna go for it. But the arsonists who we sneak in, every 1 in 7 artists is an arsonist who will just give you mayo.
So it's like this just big game of mafia of like who's the good Subway sandwich artist and who's the bad one.
Hey, see, you've got a choice between Laquan, between Ashley, between David, and then you have Daryl.
And Daryl,
Who do you want to make your sandwich?
I've got a hunch that Daryl could be the arsonist. It's an early guess, but I did see him spitting in the ranch.
Okay, let's give you one bit of information to work off of. Go ahead and order your bread, and each of us will grab something from the toaster. All right, I'll have Italian. And Laquan just go ahead and grabs a nice white bread, Italian, sets it on the thing, cuts it in half for you. David, he grabs a nice white bread, and Ashley, yeah, she grabs a nice white bread, and then oh my God, Daryl.
He grabs that thing like the disgusting egg loaf and puts it in the toaster.
You said you didn't even put anything on it yet. This is how it goes.
And he said, this new protocol, it's not my job.
If you didn't want it toasted, you should have told me before ordering your bread.
I can't deal with the inconsistency in your storyline. It is my job to only craft what you tell me to. And if you say egg, I hear egg and make egg.
Welcome
Oh, man.
to the Soubois.
I definitely think... Go ahead.
No, okay. Well, I was just thinking. The thing is, these are franchises, but they're individually owned businesses that have to follow a general corporate structure. So, like the Subway over like hierarchy can determine the amount of arsonists per artist, but it is up to the regional managers to discover who in like their general talent pool can fill these roles.
I like that. That kind of paints it as like a pseudo WWE situation where you have heels and you have heroes. I like that.
It's faces, actually.
Faces. Fuck, you're right. Oh, God damn it. Regardless, I like that idea. But also another idea I was thinking was you have a training grounds for Subway. It's like a trade school. And then like high-end Subways, kind of like how they'll have like lab coat ceremonies.
Yeah.
High-end Subways can pick the artists that they want.
Do you realize you just described probably the greatest anime that's ever existed? Like, if this does not get picked up by Funimation tomorrow, I quit.
I think the Subway that was paying its employees $15 an hour in Seattle,
Yeah,
that'd be like one of the high-end Subways.
exactly.
And like, you want to go there.
And like, there's only one arsonist in every 15 artists.
Yeah, and even the arsonists aren't that bad. And, like, they're more ironic.
Yeah, and, like, you get one of the arsonist sandwich, and it, like, tastes awful. But you look at it, and you're like, there's a certain beauty to this chaos here.
Yeah, this is made so badly. I love it.
I was paying for the brief look into this individual psyche. And you know what? I'm hungry, and that was my whole lunch break. But this was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our second time talking about the whole Dick's Last Resort type business model, and I mean, essentially a good Subway arsonist in this situation is the embodiment of that kind of art, the ability to kind of like get back at the customer. However, they have to do it sanitarily, like obviously no bodily fluids in the sandwiches.
I mean, yeah, ideally. But, like, that's not going to stop a rogue Subway from deciding that they're the Subway that's going to push the boundaries.
Yeah. Okay, so I could see one of the potential issues here being that, okay, and I've already thought of a way to fix it. So,
well, that's just what we bring to the table here at Let's Bring Them In. We think of problems, and we frickin' solve them.
We know how to solve our
Before
own
they even
problems.
pop off the dome, they're just like, boom, done.
Exactly. So, you can imagine that this would lead to disparity in lesser Subways, that they would be stuck with arsonists that were a little bit more fast and loose with the rules. So if an arsonist does poorly enough that everyone can tell that they're the arsonist, they have to have their like, the Subway will have like the stalks out front, and the arsonist will have to be in there for the entire day, and kids can throw subs at them.
Little meatballs. Everyone gets a little meatball to throw at the arsonist.
Meatballs and old tomatoes.
However, if you decide that to just pay full price for the sandwich an arsonist has made you, then everyone behind the counter throws a meatball at you.
Exactly.
They tell you to
and I
grow
like
his
that.
spine.
Yeah, so this this kind of introduces the whole idea of a haggling system. Like, if you can tell that, like, hey, wait, are you the arsonist? And they're like, oh, like, don't tell anybody. Here, have this sandwich half off.
And you think it was Daryl the whole time, but then you look closely at what Ashley has done, and she's slid a couple black olives onto your tuna. Then that's not gonna go great for you.
Exactly. And if they dupe you, it's like, time to get absolutely pummeled with cold meatballs.
Cold meatballs. And oh man, my stained white shirt and my denim, my good denim. I'm gonna have to run this through the cold wash.
Okay, so to prove that they are no longer associated with Subway Jared, they all have to immediately have like a jeans burning, like book burnings and Footloose. Yep. They all have to find as many pairs of jeans and burn them.
Yep. It's like and outside on the door they have no shirt, no shoes, no jeans,
no fucking denim.
No denim.
If you wear denim in here, I swear to God, we will kill you.
they have okay, so what's the anti-denim?
Khaki?
I think that's just denim adjacent.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna look at like denim, what would anti-denim be? Leather.
Leather. Yeah, you're right.
Leather, I would say.
But like, so many people wear leather alongside denim, like for their motorcycle and excursions.
Yin and yang type ideal, a lot of those cyclists are Taoists.
But what are the key features, the virtues of denim that we all bring to the table? And I know you were about to get onto something, but I do want to just quickly resolve this, because denim brings sturdiness, it brings casualness, and when
rigidity,
rigidity, when it's dressed up nice, it can bring style and flair. But still, you can never get away from that casualness. But like, what is always casual, and what is like always fancy? You can't get away from that. It's never comfortable.
Very rarely. If you find a comfortable pair of jeans, like bravo, but it probably took a while to break them in.
No, I mean, jeans are always comfortable. I mean, like, what's the if we're talking about the anti-denim, like we're talking about something fancy that's never comfortable.
Fancy and uncomfortable. Corset.
Yep. Okay. Yep. There it is.
So everyone who works at Subway has to wear corsets now.
God, this is becoming Vampire the Masquerade in a hurry, and I'm loving it.
If I knew what that meant, I would agree.
Okay, so we're going to deep dive real quick into the world of LARP. LARP, for those who don't know, is live action role play. And there are several different forms of it. Sometimes you might have heard of it from the movie Role Models, where they dress up as the rock star's Kiss and battle it out with fantasy knights on a local park battlefield.
Yes, indeed.
But there's a specific type of LARP, of live action role play, called Vampire the Masquerade, in which everyone acts as some different sort of vampire, and the goal is less combat; it's much more political. And so you have to sort of walk around your local gazebo in public, dressed in what you might assume Johnny Depp would wear in Darker Shadows, and sort of talk about, yes, the clan indeed shall rise at the local gymnasium, but only if the enemy clan at the local library decides not to stop us when we are nearing our goal.
Okay.
So we're assuming a little bit more of that kind of, not necessarily that kind of LARP, but definitely the aesthetic. Entering this subway with the arsonists.
Mostly, I just want the subway artists to look like they just got off $1,000 shopping spree at Hot Topic.
Oh hell yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it fucking rips, dude. It looks so sick. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if someone making your sub had like fishnet hand stockings
with an Invader Zim T-shirt?
Yeah, and then like some super, I don't know, like some big headband. Oh, dude, you know what they sell at Hot Topic? Maybe it was Spencer's. It was a full-on Master Chief helmet.
Yeah, I could see both of those selling that though.
Oh, I want one of those, man. Those are cool.
Stop at your local FYE and pick that up for a ridiculous sum. Or I could just 3D print it for you because I have a new 3D printer.
Can you 3D print with like colors like that?
I could paint it, but I could if you got me the specific type of PLA or plastic that was that color. I could for sure.
Can you make your own PLA? Like, is there a way? Do you know how to like? It's not smelt.
I don't know how to forge plastic. If that's what you're asking.
All right, good point. A little bit out of your pay grade.
Can you explain what are the components of plastic? Because I just assume you just take it off the plastic tree. You unravel a plastic tree that's just filled with plastic, and you send it to me in a box. And I appreciate you, but like, how do you fucking make plastic? I don't understand. Is it animal bone?
No. First of all, plastic it's part of a plant, and it's synthesized, but. Shut up. What I was saying is that you could like recycle plastic bottles, and I was wondering if you could like use that as recycled plastic.
Okay, so we go to our local haberdashery or
haberdashery
or grab a bunch of, or just like open up your general like can return thing, because in Michigan we can return cans for 10 cents. It's a good deal.
Yeah, great deal.
So we just burn those down to their base components, and after separating the tins and stuff and the aluminums from the plastics, and we run those through like a cake batter mixer or whatever, and just squirt out little lines of plastic. Is that how it works?
I think it'd be more that you just take the plastic bottles, remove them of any paper or any firmer plastic, and then very likely you just like add water and a little bit of acid, and you're able to get it back down to its polymer, and then you can do with it what you want. But regardless, we're going way off the deep end. All of this to say, Ben has a sick 3D printer.
Yeah, and it's been rad.
Yep, exactly. And I also want a Master Chief helmet.
Okay. Well, maybe put an order in, and I'll see what I can fit you in.
Yep, I'll put it on the Amazon wish list. So, goth subway artists, sandwich artists. And then, okay, so the manager obviously has to have an artistic feeling. So in order to to be a manager, or especially to be like a franchisee, you have to have an art history degree. Mm-hmm. Therefore, closing the circuit of all of the people saying, "Oh, art history degree, what are you going to do with that?" Well, I'm going to go be a franchisee.
I'm going to take a goddamn meatball marinara. I'm going to fuck it in front of everyone and call it performance art, and land a sweet gig as regional manager of the local subways in my home Tri-City area.
Exactly. Also, I think that there would be so few Subway artists that there would be a scarcity for Subway, and then people would be more in tune to go there. Because right now, no one's ever like, "Oh shit, I can't believe there's a Subway in your hometown." Like,
exactly.
Subway's up there with McDonald's as far as one of the more common fast food joints that you see.
Right.
Because it's so easy, dude. Like, all the food is refrigerated until the last second.
Exactly.
And then you can toast it. And it's none of, I mean, I don't want to say none. Very little of it is fresh.
Yeah.
Even though it's Subway, eat fresh.
I know, right? It's one of those things where it's like marketing is lying to you. We would never do that.
That's why we would have it be Subway, eat art.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Lean into it. I love it.
Exactly.
No one cares about the freshness because no one believes in the freshness.
Banksy would replace Jared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd constantly just have murals of marinara subs. And you'd have to just the user experience is entering the subway and attempting to not get foiled by the subway arsonist.
It's really dark in there too.
Yep, it's very dark, so it makes it even harder to decide if someone's intentionally ruining your sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, and if you you know, like at Chipotle, people will try to like lean over and point out what they want. If you do that, everyone will just absolutely tear you to shreds.
But we could just like include some sort of like autocannon that just has meatballs loaded in it.
Oh, dude, it'll be like a t-shirt gun at like a sporting event but with meatballs.
Exactly.
That'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. Break the rules, you get bald.
Absolutely just balling people.
Exactly. Just loading all the balls.
Instead of having some mascot out by the road that like dances some stupid stuff like that, they have some guy shooting meatballs at cars.
He's trying to, so Deborah, I was telling you I was lined up for the promotion, and I just want to tell you that they went in a different. Daryl! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Did you hit a bird? No. Oh my God! Is that a man on the side of the street with a fucking meatball cannon?
And it's splattering on cars and just blood red, so it looks like they killed something, but it's just meatballs.
Exactly.
And then he's specifically aiming for like convertibles and motorcycles.
People just walk into Subway with massive welts, and they're just like, "What the fuck?" And then they're like, "Yes, would you like that toasted?" And they're like, "I'm just here to." Yeah, sure. I do need to tell you before I tell you anything else, or you will throw my whole sandwich in the trash.
I mean, that was an absolutely unreal review.
First things first, I would like this toasted.
Maybe you get a deal if you get hit by a meatball. Like, you get like $2 off your sandwich.
Oh, man. Yes.
And first of all, we have to completely take out the idea of a $5 footlong. That's just stupid.
And it's not real. No one does it.
No. Nowhere. It's $5 footlongs are they're so antiquated. It's absurd.
It's because it's like trying to herd cats or like put laws in the Wild West. You're like, it would be pretty cool if there was a $5 footlong, and all of the regional managers like, yeah.
There's
that
like
would be cool.
There's one Subway ever that still does $5 footlongs.
Yeah, and he's like losing money hand over fist. He's like, this is what they said to do.
I don't know what to do. I'm trying to be a go-getter. I want to attract attention. I'm trying to stay true to the brand. And like all of the competing Subways are like, yeah, totally. Like, we're doing $5. It's crazy that like no one ever, like, I don't get, you're not turning any money? That's wild. I don't get it.
You come into a Subway and you're like, hey, $5 footlong, and everyone just fucking laughs at you.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I can't remember the last time. Now they advertise $5 6-inch subs.
Exactly, and I just feel gypped. Nothing makes my 6-inch softer than getting a $5 6-inch.
6 inches for $5?
That's so expensive, and that's if you get it on a deal day.
That's true. Oh god. Okay, so here's the thing. Subway, we want to help, and we have ideas. I'm speaking mano a mano now. Mm-hmm. I want Subway to succeed. Something in my heart, just remembering eating Subway when I was little and actually liking it at one point. I want to see the good days of Subway come back. I want to see them come back on top, and we want to help them rebrand as kind of like a sub bistro, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, with a more like, you come in for the atmosphere.
Yeah. And they need to stop making fucking pizzas.
Do they do that?
You didn't know that? Yeah, dude, they make pizzas.
I've never gone into a Subway and been like, boy, howdy, I could use a pizza.
Dude, honestly, to me, Anyone who eats pizza at a Subway also eats only chicken tenders and French fries and hot dogs with ketchup.
My little cousin does that, and I was just like,
Yep.
you realize your life is like vanilla ice cream if the vanilla ice cream was made with flour instead of sugar.
Yeah, it's just no. If it was made with like even more simple sugars that are worse for you.
Yeah, your life is like gluten-free bread.
Yeah, it's just like ugh. And if you don't get me started on people. First of all the places to do breakfast, I'm not going to Subway for breakfast.
Oh God, the thought of that has always made me just like run a dry heave.
Their egg loaf is absolutely disgusting.
Fucking Daryl with his eggs. He's back at it again. No one expects him in the morning.
Like, oh no, he's one of those guys that like if you come in at like 10 and you order a sub and he just doesn't even listen to you, just makes like a breakfast sub and you're like, dude, like I didn't order this. And he's like, well, we don't stop serving breakfast until 10:30. And you're just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
No.
Daryl.
I can't believe. All right, so something that's wild to me, not to cross brands. How was it that people were finally able to like complain their way into getting McDonald's to serving breakfast, quote unquote, all day? And don't get me wrong, I get that it's probably not due to people's requests. It's probably because they can do it for a cheap enough price at this point. Mm-hmm. But like, why did they bend on that? Because it used to be a big deal. It'd be like, oh, like, fuck, we got here at 10:45 instead of 10:30, and now we can't get any breakfast. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than getting a 10:45 single burger. It's just not a good vibe.
Well, I mean, first of all, catch me never getting a burger from McDonald's. It's McChicken, chicken byproduct.
It's a good goddamn point. I will never buy a burger from McDonald's unless I am mixing it with several other chicken sandwiches to create a burger chicken McMonstrosity.
Unless it's like a Big Mac, because those are classic. It tastes like I don't know, civil unrest in the 60s. It just tastes American.
Yeah, you want to go meet in Chicago and we can grab ourselves some Big Macs?
Hey, dude, you want to let's make a Facebook event where we go get Big Macs and eat them.
And then leave.
And then review it online poorly.
Yep.
Oh, man. But yeah, so... Yeah, just God, breakfast. If this wasn't already implied, Subway, get rid of breakfast.
Yeah, there's no more breakfast.
Get rid of pizza.
I think we've solved it. I think Subway is fixed.
I mean, truthfully, at this point, if they're not fixed, that's on them. We've done everything that there's no problem that they have that we haven't already fixed right now.
So, it's your turn then.
Okay. So Subway, we did it for you. It's all in your hands.
And
we'll be billing you.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. I've been doing it every time. I thought it was your moment. It's
true.
Your brand, so it's your brand. You get primary pay on this one. I'll get the commish.
Okay, that works. All right. So you know what we should start doing? We should start Actually, no, that's a terrible idea. I was gonna say we should start teasing for next week, but I'm gonna completely forget.
Yeah. We can maybe like when we start being more organized, start doing that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right now we're in we're in the fast and loose phase.
Yeah, where it's just like, hey, it'd be fucking good.
Let's make jokes about Subway.
I am interested when we start releasing these and then people start listening, which will inevitably occur. People making suggestions of their businesses that they'd like us to rebrand, so we can start bringing those in.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess first and foremost, we should say it should be somewhere that like we've been. Like, I'm not gonna review your local Kinko's. Mm-hmm. I will rebrand Kinko's in general, but like. Yeah, true. Here, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Buy your own fucking printer. There you go. You're done. They're not that expensive.
They're not.
Or just use a public library. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you need big prints, but like.
I need copies.
Go to Staples Noir.
Exactly. They'll get you covered. I mean, you have to leave your shoes at the door, but they got you covered.
Yeah, and their copies smell like lavender.
Oh yeah, they do.
All right, you got any comics you want to look at?
I'm gonna pull up. You know what? Are you feeling a good one this week?
Yeah.
All right,
pull up a good one.
I'm pulling up Fraz.
Nice.
All right. I'm feeling a good one.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about shit ones.
All right. Though I gotta say, Kathy last week was not that bad.
Kathy absolutely rips, and like, catch me always respecting Kathy.
Like,
I have an affinity for comics like Kathy and that one old woman with the glasses. And
she's
then
in Fraz,
also,
right?
No, she's not in Fraz. She's like her own comic, and she's like just sassy old lady. And then the other one that I have an affinity for is Garfield, because like they've taken a comic that like wasn't that funny, but it just all of a sudden it becomes like it becomes a national brand in essence. Mm-hmm. Like, if you say Garfield, the number one hit is definitely not the president who, let it be known, like, served 2 terms. I think he might have served 3. But regardless, like, a president who was president for a while, and instead it's some fat cat who's been around since 72.
Garfield was assassinated. He was one of the few presidents that was assassinated, too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, no, he was, because he got shot, and then there was that whole big deal where they tried to get the bullet out of him, but they ended up, like, looking around the wrong area, and then they brought like a metal detector in to try and get it, but the doctor wouldn't let them use the metal detector to find where the bullet was.
That sounds that sounds about right.
It was, but, like, you know what? It was Alexander Graham Bell who brought in the fucking metal detector.
Are you for real now?
I am for real, and the doctor was like, no, you can't use it, or you can't move him off this bed with metal springs to use your metal detector, so you're not going to actually find the bullet. And they were searching in the wrong area of his body for the bullet, so that's why he died.
Dude, that is absolutely crazy.
And this was also before, like, proper sanitation. Well, not before it. It was just before it was wide practice.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just fun facts.
I mean, Garfield's he was a wild president. No, he
was wild. Like, there was a lot of interesting shit that goes on in Garfield's presidency. If you want an interesting story, definitely look up Garfield's presidency. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's to our listeners too. Stay woke.
All right. So I haven't read this yet, so I'm gonna hang out with with y'all as we experience this Fraz comic. It's probably gonna be really good. His comics are always good.
Do you remember when you said it to me? You were like, "Hey, if you change your profile picture on Skype, you are a psychopath."
It's true.
And I was like, it's a great point, because right now my profile picture I remember taking like 6 years ago.
Because who updates that shit? I mean, unless you automatically connect it to Facebook and it just auto changes, but like no one goes out of the way to change that profile pic.
Exactly.
Okay. So Caulfield, who is one of the kids who hangs out with Fraz the janitor, and he's a really smart kid. He's always like bringing the Calvin to the Hobbes of this comic. So he says to Fraz, who has his bike next to him, when a bad driver passes you, do you have to glance over to see if he looks as dumb as he drives? Fraz thinks this is humorous and says, guilty. Caulfield then replies, and they all look pretty dumb. And Fraz agrees, thinking, or they're fiddling with a phone. And Caulfield responds, I believe that's essentially what I said. And then back to Fraz with a final killer line. True. They can't all look like Zero from Beetle Bailey. Oh.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good own.
I'm imagining this is a double own, because not only is this like an own to those text and drivers, this is also a super dig at Beetle Bailey.
Yeah, it's actually, holy shit, did you know that Beetle Bailey, the cartoonist, he died this year, 2018.
No way.
Yeah, I just looked that up. That's wild.
This is a bad time for Fraz to be taking a dig at him then.
Maybe it's like a weird way of paying homage or something. Or...
Yeah, but, I mean, he died how long ago?
Let me check.
But like, is this weird to me that like a comic is referencing other comics which might share the same page space?
No, I actually, you know what? I like that. I like that idea that they would do that, because no better way to like see people subtweet things.
Yeah.
You know?
But like, this is almost less of a subtweet. This is more of an at.
I mean, I don't know if it really is, because an at? Yeah, I mean, you're right. I agree.
It's like, I don't know. It's like a don't at me kind of thing. But like, imagine you're watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then Carlton's like, I haven't been this displeased since I caught that last episode of Family Matters. Right, Urkel? And then everyone's just like, Oh, jeez.
Oh, I can't believe he said that.
He's fucking called out Steve Urkel. Is this going to be like a beef? Is this going to be a thing? And then it's the most ambitious crossover since Avengers Infinity War.
I think you're forgetting about when Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron did a crossover.
Jesus Christ. The three Jimmy Timmy Power Hours are the greatest thing that's ever happened in all of animation history. It's
gold. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so I'm turning the corner on this. I think that they're referencing, because like in this world, in Fraz's world, that means they have the comic Beetle Bailey, he's referencing it. Mm-hmm. So I think that just speaks to the longevity and the breadth of Beetle Bailey, that it exists in numerous timelines, including this comic one.
Okay, but at the same time, he could just literally reach his hand like right above him and grab something from the next strip and pull it down. Maybe he's just like they're in Beetle Bailey and he pulls a rifle down into this strip. If they were just crossing all kinds of boundaries.
How wild would that be, though?
It would be pretty crazy, because he's probably on school grounds, and that could result in some pretty shitty situation.
That'd be nuts. Just have one where like just Beetle Bailey, like they comment on one of them and they're like, yeah, so we're going to nuke the comic strip right beneath us. So if they're around next week, that's not canon, so they better be moved.
Next time you get the paper, there's the burn mark where that comic was.
Or like, I think it'd be better put to have them say that if there's something above us, we'll do it. Because the first comic you see is going to be the one on top, right? Mm-hmm. That'd be a great way to hold comic strips ransom and to see if newspapers are paying attention.
Exactly.
Because I feel like a lot of the time, obviously they just run everything if they get it.
I feel like people who get the paper either turn immediately to the comic section or throw it away immediately.
Yeah, I will say one of the exceptions would be like my parents, because they use the newspapers to line the kennels since they're veterinarians.
Or recycle it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, but like I definitely get what you're saying, because if you're reading comics in a newspaper instead of online, first of all, good for you because you're getting the newspaper, but you're kind of depriving yourself of the best comics, because there's absolutely no competition to get into the newspaper. Mm-hmm. At most newspapers. Mm-hmm. Like most of them, it's just like, all right, we've got the 20 comics that we carry, and then we'll have the extras on Sunday, but that's it. No more. And
which doesn't make sense, because especially in a new local newspaper, what happens? I say this. We just picked up someone from our local newspaper who now works with me. So if he hears this episode, hey man, what did you guys do?
Yeah, well, especially with the comics.
Yeah, like what did you guys do? Did you write those? Did you change the captions?
Oh, that'd be wild. If Garfield didn't even make if Jim Davis didn't even make comics anymore. He just sent people
the frames with the bubbles, and everybody else had to fill them in.
Yeah, and then one of the rogue newspapers just trying to ruin Garfield's
the Arsonist, the newspaper Arsonist.
Exactly. It just says Garfield, I should take you to the office. And then Garfield says, I piss, shit, fart, pee, cum, came, sex, piss, cum. And just absolutely tarnishing Garfield's image.
And everyone's everyone just gets riled up, not at the local newspaper, but at Jim Davis in particular.
Yeah, and Jim Davis is like, hey, Garfield ate too much lasagna that day. I don't know.
Exactly.
I just like to imagine a world, not a world, it's in this world, let's be honest. Someone emails Jim Davis and it's like, hey, that cartoon was great.
That was, I had to kind of downplay it for the media, but that was the freshest my comic has been in decades. Having Garfield just say piss fuck shit like that, John never fucking saw it coming.
So brave. That shit-heeled John Arbuckle was absolutely devastated because he's a nerd.
His surprised expression that I normally end every comic with since the dawn of time finally felt like it had weight and merit, because he didn't expect his tabby cat that has survived beyond many the lives of many mortals to just all of a sudden spout untold profanity.
Dude, do you think Garfield will last forever?
I do think that Garfield will last forever because
Garfield
there is
is
nothing that
eternal.
will stop Jim Davis.
Yeah. Do you think? I bet Jim Davis is like the kind of guy that believes in like, what is it, cryogenic freezing. So I bet like when he dies, he'll have his head frozen or something.
I agree. And it's like, if Fraz is ready to break down these barriers, why can't they just start adding Garfield all the time?
Dude, Garfield would kick his ass. Are you kidding me?
Like they could
there's-
literally just look at a frame of Garfield and make fun of it the rest of the panels, and they'd just probably get away with it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what if? New idea. What if they had like one comic in every paper that like just ripped on all the comics from the day before,
Yep. Oh, it's genius.
or even better than that, like just a comic reviewer, someone who reviewed
Yep.
comics.
Yeah.
Newspapers. Go ahead and our inbox is always open.
We'll be billing you.
Yes, we will be.
Yeah, we normally don't bill these guys, but I guess we're going to now.
Yeah, they brought it on themselves.
It's a really good idea. All right, so I think that's going to do it for us today, everybody. If you enjoyed the show and you want to hear more, it would be really helpful if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And it would be awesome if you shared this with anybody you think would be interested.
Yeah, and feel free to tell people about it anywhere you want. Don't do it in the streets. We don't want that. But, find a bulletin board that needs some art, or if you need to, if you find some kind of like overpass and you've got some spray paint, feel free to write down, let's bring them in.
Okay, yeah, and I think we should maybe make a Twitter for Let's Bring Them In so people can like tweet their ideas or their suggestions at the show. We don't
Okay.
have one yet, but maybe we will go ahead and do that for people.
What should we make it the handle?
At-
This
probably,
is just
probably Let's Bring Them In.
okay. True, you're right.
I mean, we gotta be on brand. This is what we're selling to people. We gotta be on brand.
Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
And the screen name can be Pussy Killer. Wait, Pussy Ass Fart.
It's got to be like something like number one anime hater.
Garfield.
Or-
Garfield's
yeah.
biggest friend.
If I saw Garfield on the street, I would punch him square in the stomach.
Do they have enough space for that many characters?
.exe. I don't know, probably.
All right, so we'll try to find it at Let's Bring Them In. Might have that domain or that thing, but by the time we get this, and if it's not, well, then we give you completely wrong information right here, and I'll probably cut this part out. All right, so my name has been Ben DeHart,
And I am still Evan Klein.
and we'll be billing you.
See ya.